knows how to make a lot of money, knows how to get women, knows how to tell jokes, knows, has been to a couple countries, right? Has driven a few sports cars, having a really decent life. Oh, let me put this on mute. 1 second. I gotta put this on mute. I gotta put this on mute. I gotta put that on mute because I don't want to be disturbed while I'm talking to y'all. So if you're a man who knows all of these things, society is going to tell you that you need to go and chase women, take them out on dates, etc., etc. But think about how logical that is. There's okay, so let's say there's 1,000 people, 1,000 men, 1,000 women, and you, out of the 1,000 men that the 1,000 women have to choose from, you are in the top 10 of that. You're so there's only 10 of you, only 10 men that know how to dress, make a lot of money, have traveled the world, have the sports cars that they want, can buy anything that they want. I'm not just saying one of these things. I'm saying you have all of them together, right? So there's some men who are rich but they're fit, they're fat, right? There's some men they have good looks but they are walking red flag. They're too emotional. They're not masculine, right? There's some men who are very masculine but then they have no money, right? They're et cetera, right? So there are different types of men. But if you are a man who has good qualities or above average qualities in all of these areas, meaning you are fit, you're smart, you're well traveled, etc., then how are you supposed to go out into the marketplace, the dating marketplace, and expect that you are going to be the one chasing? That doesn't make sense. Most women do want someone who's smart, someone who is fit, someone who's not a walking red flag, someone who has money. And if you ask women, if they would prefer someone, hey Brian, how you doing? If you ask women if they would prefer someone, the exact same person, but someone who is fit and someone who's not fit, of course they're going to pick the person who's more fit. If you ask them the exact same person, but one has more money and one has less money, they'd pick the person with more money. In all areas, if you are the exact same as everybody else, just better, then you end up, I'm going to say this, being the price. But if you're an average man, you are not the price because the average female is getting more attention than you. But you are an exceptional man, which means, again, you can say 5 words in Spanish, of course. Anyway, if you can be fit, rich, intelligent, able to tell jokes, not a walking red flag, emotionally intelligent, right? Know how to dress well, then, bro, you are above the class of men that have these female problems. So then I say that as a context for the conversation that I was having with my friend. My friend and I, what we were talking about was how there are women who will go amongst men that are average and they will try to get attention from these men, right? Mm. Now, among men who are, intelligent and highly respected and top class men, they don't get the attention because they're not as pretty as they think. They're not as charming as they think. They're not as kind as they think, etc. So then they have to remove themselves from that environment because they don't get the attention and the type of pursuits that they're looking for, right? However, those same women will go to maybe a lower nightclub, right? So those women can't get into the best nightclubs because they're not eights, right? They're not nine, they're not tens on a scale of 1 to 10. Obviously, that's not how you want to classify women, but just for argument's sake, so you understand, they let into those clubs the eight, nines, and tens physically, purely physically attractive, right? High heels, right? Victoria's Secret models, you can think of the Kelly Rowland, the Beyonces of the world. That's who they let into the clubs for free, but they can't get in. So then they go to the club down the road instead of the club that charges $100 to get in, they go to the club that charges $5 to get in. And in those clubs, they're superstars. And so then you have to realize that if you are a man in the club where they charge $5, you need to get out of that club, go home, become the man that can get into the $100 club and have a bottle and have a table in that club for $100. That's who you need to be. Because if that's not the case, then you're going to be running a race where you feel like you need to be chasing women because you have nothing better to offer. I hope that makes sense. right?